Hi, welcome back to Common Core. This is 1.1 Part H. Well, it's safer than driving outside.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Alright. So what we have here is we're doing a quick spiral revisit to working with fractions. I know, again, you are just madly in love with fractions, but we need to cover a few more things. Remember that when I was talking about when you multiply, two positives make a positive and two negatives make a positive, but if you have one of each, it's going to remain negative. Remember an odd number of negatives, or the one person who doesn't have anybody to dance with at the dance, if you remember that reference. Well, in this case here, we have two negatives, so that makes a positive. Now, what you can do, since it makes a positive, you could simply eliminate them and say, okay, well, we don't need these no more. Then you could take top times top and bottom times bottom. So that's no big deal. I said it again. I'm trying to stop saying it as much, but it's a habit. 4 times 10 is 40. 5 times 12 is 60. Divide both by 20. Or you can break it down by 2 and then 5 and then 2 again, whichever way you want to do it. And you get 2/3. Remember that you could pre-divide. You could divide both of these as long as you do a top and a bottom. I'll divide both of these by 2. Looks like I could divide by another 2. Okay. And divide both of these by 5. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 3 is 3. Easy peasy. You go ahead and do a quick try. Let's see how you did. Hopefully you got these numbers right here. Don't forget that when you do these, if you had trouble remembering, you had to turn this into an improper fraction. Forget the negative for a second. Just think negative divided by a positive makes a negative. So we can just erase this negative and not worry about it. 3 times 5 is 15 plus 4 is 19. Remember, we don't switch the first number. We switch the second. Now, 12 and 10 I can divide by 2. Now you might say, can I divide 5 here and 5 here? No, because one has to be on the top and the bottom. Since it's not, it's not. 19 times 6, let's see, use the brain here. I'm going to say 104. Hope I'm right with that. No, 114 actually. I thought about that for a second. 114. And 5 times 5 is 20. 25, excuse me. How many 25s can I get out of 114? The answer is 4. 4 times 25 is 100, so take 100 away. 114 minus 100 is 14 over 25. And don't forget the negative. And if you got that, this certainly is no problem. Skills practice. Doing a little retro spiral. Go ahead and see what you can do. Pause it. Let's see how you did. We've got here negative 34 over 7, or if you prefer, negative 4 and 6/7, whichever makes you happy. And here 8/15. Now something new. We did our spiral, now to something new. Adding and subtracting like fractions. We kind of touched on this some. Now I'm not going to talk to you about adding normal integers, because this is a Common Core, so we've got to kind of move you forward. But I'll give you a brief review with that. So, like fractions, the difference is the bottoms are the same. You both have a 4 in the bottom in this case, so okay, it's fine. As long as the denominators are the same, they're like fractions. Now, when you add or subtract like fractions, you just do that to the top, but leave the bottom alone. In other words, when you have over 4 and this over 4, it just means it's going to be divided by 4 when you're done. So, just take 1 plus 3. Well, 1 plus 3 is 4, and that is divided by 4, which means 4 divided by 4 equals 1. If you're a little confused, think of money, because, hey, who doesn't like money? 1/4 and 3/4. 1/4 plus 3 more quarters makes a whole $1, and that's where we get that from. This here, 4/7 plus 2/7. 4 plus 2 makes 6, and it's still just being divided by 7. I don't add the 7s. All I'm doing is saying I'm going to divide this by 7, and I'm dividing this by 7. Therefore, when I add them, I'm still just dividing by 7, and 6 divided by 7 could just be 6/7. It's that easy. You try, and for the second one, please reduce. Go ahead this time. Let's see how you did. Once I write them in. 2 plus 3 is 5 over 9. 1 plus 3 is 4 over 6, which makes 2/3. And 1 plus 3 is 4 over 7. Hope you got those right. Skills practice. Just these 3. Pause. Let's see how you did. Did you have these? I hope you did. Now, same is true for subtraction. Divide by 9 after we get done with what we have to do. So 4 minus 3 is 1. Divide by 9 is just 1/9. Or 5 minus 3 is 2. Still being divided by 12. 1/6. You try. Go ahead and try these 3. Let's see how you do. All right. So 6 minus 3 is 3 over 9, and that makes 1/3. 5 minus 3 is 2 over 6, which also makes 1/3. And 4 minus 3 is 1 over 7. I hope you got all 3 of those right. Skills practice. Go ahead and pause, and let's see how you did. Did you get these? I hope you did. So again, when you have a negative and a positive, now we skipped the part where I told you about this, so I'm just going to give you a very quick review. We know it's going to be divided by 5. This represents -4. This represents +3. Think of a tug of war. There's 4 on the negative team and 3 on the positive team. I simply want to know who's got more players. This team has 4 players. This team has 3 players. Who's got more? Clearly the negative. By how many? The answer is 1. So this side wins by 1, and it's negative, so it's -1. So when you have -4 plus 3, think of -4 positive 3. Who's got more? Negative by how many? 1. So that's how you do that. Team negative, -1. Don't forget that you're still over 5. So -1, and then it's over 5. Easy peasy. Easy so far, but now I have -1/4 plus 3/4. They're both being divided by 4, so we have -1 and +3. That's how I want you to look at it. Team negative has a 1, team positive has a 3. Who has more? Team positive. By how many? I hope you know it's 2. Still being divided by 4. Shown here. 3 beats 1 by 2, and then 2 over 4 equals 1/2. You try. Go ahead. Now, because we kind of skipped a couple things here, if you had some trouble, don't sweat it. -6 and -3. When you have 2 negatives, now you're going to say, wait, don't 2 negatives make a positive? Okay. They do when you are multiplying, but when you're adding 2 negatives, it just makes a larger negative. Here's the mindset. -6 means, let's say we have a 6-foot hole in the ground. So let's say this is -6 feet. Then, in that hole, I'm going to dig another 3 feet. Question now is, how deep is the hole now? Still a hole. It's deeper. Now it's -9. And it's still being divided by 9. 9 divided by 9 is 1. Therefore, equals -1. Here, -5 versus +3. The negatives win by 2. Divide both of these by 2, and you get -1/3. Here, -4, +3, you get -1 over 7. Now we need to throw in some mixed numbers. Let me check the clock time here. Okay, we're doing all right. So remember, we have to go ahead. There's 2 ways you can do this. I'm going to show you an easier way. If you can do it, just add the whole numbers first. Okay, 3 plus 2 is 5. We got that. Then we're going to take 3 sevens plus 2 sevens. So, okay. 3 sevens plus 2 sevens is going to make 5 sevens. So you have a big 5 because 3 plus 2 made 5. And 3 sevens plus 2 sevens made 5 sevens. So they're just attached. That's all you're doing there. If you have this, 3 and 3 sevens plus 5 and 6 sevens, well, okay, again, 3 plus 5 makes big 8. Big 3 plus big 5 makes big 8. And 3 over 7 plus 6 over 7, 3 plus 6 is 9. So just go ahead and put 9 over 7 now. If you remember, we kind of touched on this in a video earlier, if the top's bigger than the bottom, all you have to do, we're going to exchange this and say, okay, I'm going to pull out 7 from this. In other words, since this is bigger than the 7, take 7 away. Okay, that leaves me 2 out of 7, and put a big 1 here. Think of it this way. Think of tokens again. Okay, suppose it's 7 tokens in a dollar. 7 tokens in a dollar, and you have 9 tokens total. You could turn 7 of those tokens in for a dollar, and how many would you have left? 2. Therefore, if you have 9 tokens and it's 7 tokens in a dollar, you could have a dollar and 2 tokens, basically. And then you simply add to the big 8 here. 8 plus 1 is 9. 9 and 2 7s. We'll be doing some of this tomorrow in class. Again, I realize fractions are universally disliked for this reason, but once you get used to it, I think you'll be fine. So here's the bottom, still a 7. We talked about 9 minus 7, which makes 2, gives you big 1. And 8 plus big 1 makes 9. And 2 7s comes along for the ride. Again, take another look here. Big 7 plus big 5 makes big 12. 7 over 8 plus 6 over 8. 7 plus 6 is 13. Since 13 is bigger than 8, take 8 away from the top and add a big 1. So, okay, 13 minus 8 would be 5. So 5 over 8 is what's left. Add a big 1 to your 12 and make 13. You try. Pause. Let's see how you did once I write them down. Big 8 plus big 1 makes 9. 8 plus 2 is 10. That's over 9. Since this is bigger than 9, we're going to minus 9 away and put big 1, and 10 minus 9 is 1 over 9. Don't forget to add the big 9 to the big 1. That makes 10 over 1/9. 10 and 1/9. Here, big 3 plus big 2 makes big 5, and 12 plus 12 is 24 over 13. Since 24 is bigger than 13, take 13 away. 24 minus 13 is 11 over 13. Add 1 to the 5, makes 6. Hopefully you got those right. Skills practice. Go ahead at this time. Let's see how you did. I got 5 and 5 sevenths. This became 13 and 20 over 18, which converts to 14 and 10 eighteenths, which converts to 14 and 5 ninths. We're getting to a middle point here. We're going to stop here in a second. One more thing. 7 7/8 minus 5 and 6/8. First, you're going to take 7 minus 5. Okay, that makes 2. And 7 minus 6, which makes 1. So 7 minus 5 is big 2. And 7 minus 6 is 1. Now, I'm saying do the numerator first in case you have to borrow. Now, we haven't really talked a lot about borrowing. And I know some of you like easy. Some of you are like, I never liked it. Well, we'll address it, but one thing at a time. So 7 minus 6 is 1 over 8. So that's 1/8. Bottom's still 8. And then big 7 minus big 5. There you go. 2 and 1/8. You try. Go ahead and give this a shot. This one and this one, go ahead and pause. Let's see how you did. 4 minus 2 is 2. Still being divided by 9. Big 9 minus big 3 is 6. Here, 6 minus 2 is 4 over 7. And big 17 minus big 3 is 14. Skills practice. These two. I'm sure they're not the same because I did that one other time. Go ahead and pause. Let's see how you did. This guy here is 8 and 3/8. This one here is 43 and 2/6, which makes 43 and 1/3. Now, we're going to stop right this moment and pick it up tomorrow.
Talk.